I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, May the 17th, brought to you in part by Beaver County Stockyards, Beaver, Oklahoma, right there on the eastern edge of no man's land in the Oklahoma Panhandle there. They're expecting about 2,000 head of feeder cattle for their regular sale here today on Tuesday. You can view and bid that sale on dvauction.com, see what it's all about. Talked to Jeff Slatton on Monday. He said that he had cattle consigned and loads of yearling cattle consigned from 4 states, over New Mexico, down in Texas, Kansas, and over and into the meat of Oklahoma, all coming in there. But I've said many times, Beaver, Oklahoma is in the middle of nowhere, but it's not that very far from anywhere. Talk about your markets on Monday. Your commodities were up big, except for feeder cattle, of course. And feeder cattle is the red-headed stepchild of your ag commodities. And now that they've got expanded limits where it can move as much as $10.50 a hundred, I don't think it's a very good option for you guys that have been using it to hedge your background in cattle. The LRP's livestock risk protection policies are a whole lot better. They settle on your cash market, which is not as volatile. And it's just a better option for you. Plus, you can get the government to kick in and pay for part of it. But your grains were all up big on Monday. It's just kind of a safe place to go when your stock market is suffering. And there was some talk about India banning grain exports, and they're gonna ban most of them. They've got some really good customers that they're gonna continue to export some grain to it, but not really sure that's that big a deal there. But tell you what, your grains seem like a safe place for a lot of funds. You've noticed that Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway CEO there out of Omaha, he's always one to listen to whenever we get in topsy-turvy times. Well, I think he was may have been responsible for part of that Bitcoin fall, or completely collapse, I should say, as he was quoted as saying just a few weeks ago that he wouldn't give $25 for all the cyber currency in the world. Well, what happened right after that? Well, I saw news on Monday that he's investing heavily in the stock market now that it's down big, and of course a lot of people think that whenever everybody else is bailing, maybe that's the time to get in. And when the town drunk tells you that things are pretty bad, then it might be time for them to come back a little bit. But we're continuing to see that Russian invasion of Ukraine attack your commodity markets and just got everything on edge. Saw some stories on Monday, which just a few days ago, there was a farmhand that was attacked while he was in his tractor cultivating some fields. Tracked by a Russian pilot there and heavily injured there. He didn't, last word I heard, he wasn't dead, but he was heavily injured. But you know, they're going to that kind of stuff now, and they're just they're completely violating the rules of the Geneva Convention and causing war crimes over there. They seen some other reports where Russia is now stealing grain in the areas of Ukraine that they have taken over, shipping it back into Russia for their own use, or exporting it from there and taking the money, which that's against the rules. And they also have been confiscating farm implements and relocating them over into Russia and into places that they oversee. The problem is these newer farm implements have remote locks on them, and they can lock one of those down where it's no good for you at all. But they probably never thought of that. But especially on those new John Deere implements, you completely lock one down and it'll do you absolutely no good. But just a lot of stuff like that going on, which keeps your commodity markets just in a foil all the time, and we're still not seeing any relief down in the southern plains, especially the southwest. That fire in New Mexico, it has now reached the point where it is the biggest fire that they've ever had in New Mexico. I told you last week that they are in the middle of a 500-year drought in New Mexico, and that has moved up into northern New Mexico, kind of going into northeastern New Mexico. But it's bad. You know, they've still only got it a third under control there. But you know, I had gotten word from a feeder flash gang member there that lives in the area, talking about all the places that have been, you know, the people have been forced out of, and just you know, small towns, and it's gone through some really rural country there. That canyon fires went through there, but it was you know, I said last week, it's historical country. You know, I mean, there's still buildings and things there whenever the Spanish were there. And I've been on some of those ranches and seen the old churches and things like that. It's really, really cool. And you hate to see any of that get burned up. But one reason you're not seeing a lot of that, you know, well publicized, is because that was a government prescribed fire that got out of hand. It didn't come from a stray cigarette or a lightning strike or something like that. The government prescribed that fire during some of the driest conditions in the last 500 years. It got out of hand, and look at all the destruction that it's caused. But that's absolutely ridiculous. Let's talk about your board. To open the week on Monday, June live cattle futures up $1.10, like your other big commodities. Of course, live cattle is a real commodity. Feeder cattle, like I said before, is kind of a red-headed stepchild. It's such a shallow pool, nobody wants to play in it. But June live cattle futures up $1.10 at 133.17. August up 155 at 133.90. Your back months were all up from 17 cents to 72 cents. May feeder cattle, and you can guess they had to be lower because your grains were so much higher. But it doesn't matter what it is, it causes your feeder cattle to go down. But May feeder cattle down 47 cents at 157.40. August feeder cattle down 60 at 167.42. I bet you guys wish you'd have got your LRPs locked in whenever it was up in the 180s. Your back months on your feeder cattle contracts were consistently lower, from 62 to 85 cents on all the ones that are traded. Your grains up big. Corn up 28.25 cents a bushel after that WASDE report on Thursday of last week, which on a worldwide scale was bearish for corn. Not so much in a domestic scale, but on a worldwide scale, it was bearish corn market, that WASDE report, and it was up 28.25 cents on Monday, settling regular trading at 809.5 a bushel. Beans up 10 cents at 1656.5. Kansas City hard red winter wheat up the 70-cent limit at 13.52 a bushel. Have you ever heard such a thing? How about your weighted average on last week's negotiated fed cattle trade out of your 5-area feeding region? Getting back down to what we typically see trade, not that near 100,000 or more that we'd seen the last 3 or 4 weeks, but 80,200 head, which is quite a bit less than the previous week of 95,600, but a whole lot more than the same week a year ago, which is 59,400. We haven't just started struggling with the lack of negotiated trade. It's been going on for years, guys. But live sales of steers and heifers last week ranged in price from 137 to 148, which was $1 to $2 lower, but your weighted average is what everybody looks at. Out of your 5 area, it was 142.44, down 98 cents, or about $1 square there. Dress trade ranged in price from 222 to 230. That would have been $1 to $4 lower on the spread. Your weighted average on dress steers 228.82, down $1.87. Nationwide, we sold 90,700 head negotiated. Negotiated grid added up to 33,200, and formula sweetheart sales 250,200 head. That's why we don't have any leverage in the market, guys. But of the 90,700 head, about 27%, or just over 24,000 of those cattle were sold for the 15 to 30 day delivery, which I don't know if that's going to be enough. They've been doing that the last 2 or 3 weeks, and they've been wanting to set this market up quite a bit. But the heck of it is, they're still kind of short of market-ready cattle in the northern plains, so we haven't seen that yet. Talked to a Feeder Flash gang member up in Wisconsin at an equity market there, selling big, heavy 1,600-pound choice Holstein steers way up in the high 130s, guys. So, you know, what the heck? Do they, you know, that's a whole different product, you know, and they normally, and that's where they harvest those, is up in that area. But if they're selling those that good, they must need cattle everywhere. How about box beef cutout values? They were higher. We expect them to be higher here for a short time now, but then they should probably top out for the early part of the summer, sometime in May. But 260.31 for choice cuts, that was up $1.36. Selects up 177 at 245.67. Your slaughter on Monday was estimated to be 124,000, which is a good start for the week. Talk about what else is going on. I want to tell you guys, if you're thinking about going to the 4-State Farm Show in Pittsburgh, Kansas, I encourage you to do so, and I encourage you to do so on Friday afternoon. I'm going to be there along with guys from Joplin Regional Stockyards and the guys from Specialty Risk, and we're going to be putting on a presentation there at 3 o'clock at the Bicknell Center. That's Pittsburgh State Pitt State University there in Pittsburgh, Kansas, where the 4-State Farm Show is going to be. 3 o'clock, we're going to be giving a presentation on the benefits of the LRPs. I know you guys are not really sure what they are. It's a way to hedge your cattle. You don't have to worry about getting margin calls and things like that. The government will kick in and pay for part of that policy. It's like an insurance policy, guys. You can go out there and kind of lock in the price for your cattle whenever you typically sell them. A lot of people are using it. It's been beneficial to a lot of people, especially for you backgrounders, but it's also good for cow-calf producers and or cattle feeders. But going to have a couple of guys from Specialty Risk there. Going to have some folks there from Joplin Regional Stockyards, including Skylar Moore. My buddy Catfish is going to be there, and I'm going to be there. So look forward to seeing you there in Pittsburgh, Kansas on Friday afternoon. Talk about your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DV auction late in the day on Monday based on an 800-pound steer in your sales up through the middle part of the country. Sitting at 154.38. That was down $1.14 from the end of last week. So lower prices in your sales to start the week on Monday. But most of your steers were called steady. It was the heifers that were taking the beating. And I'm not sure if we had one particular heifer buyer out. These cost of gains are getting so high, your heifers don't convert quite as well. And so, maybe guys are not going after them as hard, but bound to be something. But it was the same in Oklahoma City, and it was the same in Joplin, just right down up the road from each other. But Oklahoma City, Oklahoma National Stockyards, 9,800 head. They called the feeder steers steady there. Called the feeder heifers $3 to $5 lower. Calves were $4 to $8 lower. A lot of ballers in the mix, getting hot. People not crazy about them. Not a lot of extra grass to go around. Most people got their cows eating it, or yearlings turned out there already, and then not looking for calves to graze this late in your grazing season. But best demand was still seen for your heavier weights there. National Livestock Commission firm did, and they do share their information with Feeder Flash here, and they did sell 55 head 731-pound steers at 163.75. That's pretty darn good there in the Southern Plains, guys. How about Joplin Regional Stockyards? 5,800 head there. Pretty good sell for them. Similar trend to Oklahoma City. Feeder steers steady. Feeder heifers $3 to $6 lower. Now some of your sales you get further up into the Midwest. Pretty impressive quotes. I've got several individual quotes to give you. How about Callaway Livestock Center, Kingdom City, Missouri? That's right in the center of Missouri there, right on I-70. Had a load of fancy blacks there. 53 head, weighed 619 pounds, stocker types at 193 1/4. Wow. How about Montgomery Stockyards? Now that's, of course, that's way out east there, guys. But they had their second board video sale on DV auction. They got a lot of publicity out of the first one. Going to get more as they go forward. But all summer here, periodically, they will have those board sales, and we're going to have all of those on dvauction.com, where you can get on and view those loads of cattle and bid on them right there if you would like to, or you can get on the phone, view them on the computer, and talk to somebody on the phone and bid however you'd like to do that. But had about 50 lots on this sale. Wasn't as big as your last sale, but all of the lots are at least a load, and a lot of them are 2 to 3 loads there. But one I'm going to tell you about is Crooked Creek Cattle Company there in Fitzpatrick, Alabama. Had 3 loads, all black steers, green grass yearlings there. Been on grass all winter there, but they were had just a tick of ear on a few of them, but mostly they'd be straight English. But good green grass yearling steers there, 3 loads of them for current delivery, 765 pounds at 154.90 down in Alabama, guys. Pretty impressive quote. How about Gainesville Livestock Auction? Gainesville, Missouri. Told you it's right down in the hills there, guys. You know, where the hoot owls rake the chickens and the roosters don't even care. 65 head, 784 pound steers, bring $167. Gainesville, Missouri. How about F&T Livestock Market on the eastern edge of Missouri, right on the Illinois line there in Palmyra, Missouri, northeastern Missouri. 63 head, 839 pound steers, bring 156. That's a big quote, but the best quote that I saw anywhere on Monday, your Rowgrow top quote for the day, come out of Aberdeen Livestock Sales, Aberdeen, South Dakota. Been a recent market of the month there. They can sell them high, but listen to this quote on some stocker type steers. 87 head, 667 pound steers, bring 206.50. That's your feeder flash for Tuesday.